Hi, I'm Randy Robison, Live Today TV. I have Lysa TerKeurst with me. It's always great to have her. Her latest book is Uninvited, and if you don't have it, it's available now. Go get it. If it's not already a bestseller like her last one, The Best Yes, it will be soon, so be a part of that. But right now, you get to take a peek at something that's coming out January 2017. So I don't know when you're watching this, but if it's before then, it's extra special. We're talking about I Am with Lysa TerKeurst. Lysa, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes.
And so this is kind of a scoop for me.
Right.
You're just wrapping this stuff up. It's not out yet. It's not public. Tell me all about what you're teaching in this series.
Well, with the Finding I Am Bible study, it's my first major Bible study that I've done with Lifeway, so I'm really excited about that. And what we did is we decided to really dive in deep using the 7 I Am statements of Jesus from the book of John. And not only dive in deep theologically, but actually go to the Holy Land and record and film and study on site where Jesus walked and talked and taught, and really understand what was the overriding purpose of these 7 I Am statements and why does it matter to us personally today. So the first time that God speaks, I am, is in all the way back in the Old Testament when he's having a conversation with Moses. And Moses says, God, who should I tell the children of Israel sent me? And God replies back, I am. He didn't need any kind of qualifier. God is so complete. He is everything, all things, and so there needed to be no qualifier added onto that. When he says I am, while it feels incomplete in our human minds, in his divine presence, it's fully complete. But God doesn't just want to be everything that we need. And that's what he was communicating to Moses. I am. I'm everything you need, Moses. But God doesn't just want to be everything we need. He wants to be everything that we want. And so when Jesus comes on the scene, he takes that original I am statement spoken by his Father, which was fully complete and didn't need anything added to it, and he personalizes those I am statements in a way that we can actually feel the desperate need and desire wanting God. So when Jesus says, I am the bread of life, we know what it's like to crave bread, to feel satisfied by bread. So we learn a different dimension of who God is and how he really can be everything that we want. When Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, or I am the sheep gate, we can have pictures in our brain. We can see that, we can touch it, we can feel the need for it and the desire for God to be that for us. So the premise of Finding I Am is really understanding that God doesn't want to be explained away. He wants to be invited in. So part of Finding I Am is inviting God in a much deeper, personal, intimate way that we can see him, touch him, feel him, and experience his presence in our lives.
Why this topic?
Well, for many years, I have had just different prayers, and you probably have had these too. I think we all do. Prayers that I've prayed that I see God answering in other people's lives. And then I question, like, why aren't you answering this in my life? You're fully capable of providing this. You're fully capable of doing this because I see you doing it for other people. And so I've really spent some time wrestling with God of, God, if I'm going to say you're everything I need, yes, but everything I want, if I'm going to get to that depth of intimacy with you, I've got to wrestle well with this question. What about this big thing in my life that just hasn't worked out the way I thought it would? And I think we all have those. And so as I was writing the Finding I Am study and really understanding these 7 I Am statements of Jesus, every single one of them unpacked some kind of revelation that I needed to have with this desperation that's in my heart. And what I came to understand really is sometimes that desperation is such a gift because that desperation is the very thing that will lead us to our greatest revelation of who God is and how God is and how much he loves us.
You say that unanswered prayer. You wonder, God, am I going to spend my whole life not seeing that something come to fruition or not work out? And I believe it's from you, but I don't understand at times,
Yes.
And I'm on a limited timeline here, right? When you say that, that resonates even with me. Are you finding that resonates with a lot of people?
Well, I think so, because I think it's the very thing that we sit in church and we hear a pastor preach a sermon and he'll speak a promise of God, and that's the lull in our heart that gets lifted. It's that thing that hasn't quite come to pass yet, right? And so we hear this promise of God and we attach it to that, and we feel like, yes, God, you can do everything, right? But then in our less spiritual moments, it's also the very thing that makes us most suspicious of God.
Yeah.
Like, God, if you're good, why aren't you being good to me in this? And so that cuts across every gender line, every denomination line, every age, stage of life. I mean, we all have those things where we've brought something that's very precious, very desperate, and we've brought it to the Lord, and it just hasn't happened yet. And so in finding I Am, I think people will discover a completely brand new sense of peace about that very thing in their life, and actually see that God has probably answered more of that prayer than what we've even realized.
Wow, very, very exciting. Be sure to check out Finding I Am. If it's available, go get it now. If not, it'll be available soon. And don't forget Lysa's latest book, Uninvited. She's talking more about that, as well as some other personal things on our program on Life Today. You can watch that now at lifetoday.org. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button because we want to let you know about all the great videos from Life Today.